what we're going to do is we're going to be graphing parabolas again. And in order to graph parabolas, we're going to write it in vertex form. We're going to look at our parabola in standard form. First thing that we always do is we factor out our a value. So in this case, we're going to factor out a -1. And we have x squared plus 2x. Next step is we're going to find our new c value. We take our b value, we divide it by 2, it's always 2, and then we square it. And that, of course, gives us 1. So what we have is -1, x squared plus 2x plus 1, and then plus 3. Now, you may remember that I missed something. A lot of people would want to put a +1, but we have a 1 right here. And if we're looking right here, outside of it is a -1. -1 times 1 is -1. So that means what we're doing is we're adding a -1 on the other side of the equation. Our next step is factoring. So we have y equals -1, x plus 1 squared. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 1 on both sides, and that gives me a 4. So my vertex is -1 and 4. Now, this is y equals, so that means it either goes up or down. But since it's negative, it means it's going to go down. So I know it's going to look like that. So when I'm graphing, I have the -1 and 4. I plot that point. Now, we talked about this. When we square something, if something is 1 away and we square it, it's 1 away, but it's going down. So that means it's going to be right here. If something's 2 away, when we square it, we get 4. So that means it's going down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that right there would give us our parabola. Now, if we're looking at letter D, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the x by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 12y and the -3y squared. So I get x equals 3y squared minus 12y, and then plus 12. I'm going to take these two terms. I'm going to factor out my a value. So x equals 3y squared minus 4y. I'm going to find my new c value. -4 divided by 2 squared. -4 divided by 2 is -2. Squared is 4. Now, I see a +4, so I'm tempted to put a +4 on this side. But remember, there's a 3 on the outside. 3 times 4 gives us a 12. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor it. And that gives me y minus 2 squared plus 12. And I'm going to subtract the 12. And since they're both 12, they're going to cancel. And so now I have it in vertex form. My vertex is going to be 0 and 2. Now, with this right here, since my vertex is 0, 2, I'm going to plot my point, 0, 2. And since it's x equals, it either goes to the right or to the left. And since the 3 is positive, then that means it's going to go to the right. So it's going to look something similar to that. So when it's 1 away, because there's a 3 right here, it's going to go to the right 3. That goes way beyond our graph, so we're just going to draw our skinny parabola.